Yeah, it's CC, CEO. Wanna change your life? Come see me, yo. I'ma teach you how to build up wealth for your family, not just for yourself. I'm a bestseller, a house flipper, a businesswoman, a go-getter, a big investor, a goal builder that could teach you to get richer like millions, baby. You really about to fill your savings. You about to have multiple streams to pass your children, baby. Let me teach you to get your credit on track in the long run. You'll make it all back at Catalyst and watch it all psychology black on firm, but we ain't all black.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Let me make sure that my mic is on. Does my mic sound nice? Check one. Does my mic sound nice? Check two. All right. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. I see so many of you logging on. I just want to welcome you back to the Grow Your Money podcast, where we focus on growing your money and not blowing your money. You know what I'm saying? You need to grow your money, get into the gym every single morning. My girl, my co-host today, Tiara, she said, get into the gym. I'm taking it. I'm stealing it. It's mine now. So you need to get into the gym and you need to grow your money, okay? I need you to understand this, though. When we talk about growing your money, it's not just about your money. I'm talking about growing your wealth. And your wealth is a holistic experience, you guys. It's not just about the money. It's about your mind. We always want to come and talk about how you can get your mind right. It's about relationships. It's about your career. It's about your spirit. It's about mind, body, and soul. And of course, it's about family. Because that's why we do this, right? We do this because of our family. We do this for legacy. So today, we're going to get into family, something that I think is extremely important. It's about protecting our children from predators. We're going to talk about the tragic case of Naziah Harris. And I also have a special guest who's actually been on the other side of familial predator abuse and sexual abuse. But before we go there, y'all know this is a dialogue and it's not a monologue. So as always, I need you to talk back to me and talk black to me, y'all. I need to know where you are viewing from, because I know we have people that watch from all over the world, and I want to shout you out. So I know we have people from Chicago, from LA, New Orleans, New York, and I know we have people from all across the pond. So I just want to shout you out real quick. I want to give you your props, and I want to thank you for getting up here early in the morning with us every single day, Monday through Friday. And I want to remind you, I come here every day. So I need you, if you want to get notified every time I come live, I need you to text the word Constance, the name Constance, to 87948. Text Constance to 87948. Okay? And wherever you're watching from, I need you to make sure you subscribe to the channels. So if you're on Fly Nubian Money or Fly Nubian Queen, if you're on I Am Constance Carter, make sure you subscribe and also share, click like, send hearts, do all that stuff to show your love and show your support. So I want to bring up my girl, my co-host for the day. I love her. She is all things Hollywood. This is, hey girl, hey,
Good morning.
Miss Black Hollywood. Yes.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Chiming in all the way from where? Hollywood.
I'm in LA. I'm in Hollywood.
All right. So what's up, Miss Tiara? How you doing today, baby?
I'm good. I think the air got me, Constance. I think I'm feeling y'all. If I'm sounding a little raspy, I'm sorry. The air quality is awful, but I could not miss the opportunity to get in the gym today. So I'm coming.
Yes.
I got my tea.
Come on.
You know, the tea is hot,
Yes.
and I'm ready.
Oh, the tea is always going to be hot every time you get into the what? The GYM.
The gym.
Let's go. I love that. So real quick, let me just shout a couple of people out, okay? Because I see we got Meek from Pittsburgh. We got Monique from Detroit. What's up? Valerie from NYC. What's up? Michael from Jacksonville. We got somebody from Louisiana currently. You see how I said that? Is that how you say it? Because I know you're from Louisiana. Oh, no? Okay.
Yeah, no. You be ruining it. Wait till your guests get on. I'm gonna tell her you be ruining the language. You be ruining the accent. You just ruining.
I can really, baby. I can really.
Lord have mercy.
What's up, Christina from North Carolina? What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking? Oh, yes, the code is real. Thank you, Milestone. I appreciate that. What's happening? Okay, so today we're going to talk about. Have you heard about this case with this Miss Naziah, this little girl Naziah Harris? It's a sad, sad case. It looks like she was 13 years old, Tiara, and her uncle. She was. This is the last picture that she took of herself. This was a selfie.
Mm-hmm.
This is a child. And I don't know if you've been following the story, but her uncle, this dude right here, was 42 years old.
Yeah.
And he had been grooming her and looks like he's been sexually assaulting her for a few years. Now, if she looked that young at 13 right there, imagine she was a pure child when he first started. And there were just a plethora of text messages. I guess, folks don't be watching like the first 48. They don't be watching forensic files. They don't understand that you could actually go back and get deleted text messages.
You dummy.
Right.
Delete them. He was like, delete the text messages.
You can go back and get the deleted text messages. He told the police, hey, take my phone. You ain't gonna see nothing there. Like, here's everything. They know your searches. They know your text messages. They know where you've been. They can find out everything. And so, so all of the text messages between the two of them, how he was talking to her, the things he was telling her to do.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was very triggering, and it's very triggering for me, and just like to see cases like this and situations like this, because just because and there's you're not always protected by family, and just being someone that has been a victim in my younger years of a situation where it was a cousin. And it's so crazy because I see the cousin at functions. I Even to this day, he wasn't he told what he told me was that somebody in our family had did it to him, and that person told me that somebody in their family had did it to them. And so it really just was a cycle. He was like, I thought it was okay. I was like, okay, so it's a thing that we sweep under the rug. But even when I finally told somebody when I turned 30, I mean, it was still like, okay, we've told you, now let's sweep it under the rug. Let's not tell everybody. Let's not say anything. So when I heard this, I just thought, where was the auntie? Where was the grandma? Why wasn't they watching her? Why weren't, why?
There's
How
so
did
many
this happen?
questions. And the biggest question is why. And somebody said, well, it's not her real uncle, it's her auntie's boyfriend. I mean, but kind of was an uncle, right? Because
he was around.
Yeah.
Did you see that he also, but they knew about his previous charges. He had already given a 4-year-old chlamydia. So this was something that people already knew he had charges already. So there's no way that I would let my uncle, be around my daughter. My daughter's 13 years old right now. There's no way. No way. No way.
I was looking at some of the stuff on online, like he had a whole nother fiance along with it. They all look, and then his baby mama, they all kind of look alike. So I think he gets these women who are just happy to have a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they overlook a lot. And she was saying that he told her from the beginning that this is what I've done. This is what I've been convicted of. And she said, well, if the criminal justice system can give him another chance, so can I. That was what she said. So you choose to, and then they had a bunch of kids, right? So she had kids with them, and then she had her nieces around them, and like all of that stuff. So it's disgusting. And the question, like you said, is why? Why was nobody there to protect her? Why he allowed to be around her, knowing his past? Why? I want to bring our guest on here because she has quite a story. Her name is Trina Dorsey, and she's actually part of the Net7 Collective. Yes. And she also, there she is. Yep, you on stage. Yes. Hey, Trina. But she has a story that is out of this world. When I saw it, it went viral on, I don't know if any of you are watching, if you've heard Trina's story, she was on Tasha K. It had millions and millions of views. And there was just so much that Girl, I want to let you tell your story. Tell your story because I wanted to bring you on here to kind of have a discussion about this, but you've been on the other side of this. So tell your story, girl.
I've been in the backstage and I heard, y'all conversation. And when you sent me the clip, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. So I got up this morning and when I opened it and read it, I was like, hold on. This took me all the way back. The mere fact of any man can touch a young girl, it just comes from, like she said, way back trauma. Somebody had done it to him, and they allowed him in a family to get away with it. If justice would have been served long time ago, a lot of young girls would be getting saved right at the beginning. Back then, they used to say what goes on in a home, stay in a home. I just feel like our fathers, any man, supposed to be a protector of any woman. And I feel like that's where relationships goes wrong at, because we first look as our daddy or our grandfather. Any man that's in a home with our mama, we supposed to feel safe with that person, uncle, anybody. Even at an auntie house. If she trusts him, we should be able to go to auntie house and be able to trust him as a person that we look up to, not somebody that's assaulting us. Um, my backstory, my mom so happened to be a victim of her own father, the baby of 8. My grandmother literally married the older girls off. I don't know what happened with that, why they got married at 14 and 15. Maybe she was trying to protect them. And that's the only way she knew how to protect them, is to marry them off to, men. My mama actually didn't make her wedding. She was getting married to a young guy, but didn't make it. She wound up pregnant for her father. They told her she was alive. They tried to confuse her mind. Just didn't believe her, and actually ended up at a state school. Been there since 16, and she's now 63.
Wait, wait,
So
wait, wait. I don't know if everybody understands what a state school is.
a state school is for, first of all, it's for kids with mild disabilities. They had to be born with mild disabilities. My mom wasn't born with no disability, none. The mere fact she was going around saying her father was her dad, they feel like she was out of her mind. So the school wasn't even supposed to accept my mom because she had to be born with mild disability. It was for people that was already born with mild disabilities. It's certain things we can say on here. So all I can say, you have to have a mild disability to be in that school. And my mama wasn't born with that, either one. So she was there for many years. And still been from home to home, living assistance home, and still got violated.
Wait. Let's, before you even go there. So, so they put her. Who put her in this in this home?
Her parents.
So they put her in this home for people with disabilities. They put her in a kind of like an asylum
Institution. Yeah.
An institution. Why did they put her there?
Because my grandfather was assaulting her, but she wound up getting pregnant. So
they put her in this institution to so nobody would know what you're
keep her quiet. I mean, she was medicated all her life, and the mere fact when I got old enough to go and visit her, at the time I didn't know I was going to visit my mom. I'm thinking who is this? And I'm a kid, so I'm going to a place where people look different, and they hadn't educated me that this is a place where people not the same this disabled people. So I'm scared. I see people walking around, like zombies. So I'm out of my mind, terrified of a place as a child that I had to go see this woman every weekend, every weekend of my life. To go back, I can remember about 6 years old. I grew up in my grandparents' house thinking that was my parents. I never knew that was my mom. So till I got to a certain age, 10 years old, it got exposed in the family, that was my mom. And I had a conversation with my grandmother. I was like, well, when we go see her, why she always calling you by your first name and calling, if this her dad, she's calling him uncle. And to this day, my mom never addressed her parents by mama or daddy, never, ever. She always called her mom by her first name, Seymour. That's just it. Nothing, no mom, no nothing. And my grandfather, she always addressed as uncle. Never called him dad. Could never look in his face. She would get up from the table and walk off. Nothing. So as a kid, I'm like, this is confusing me because if this is their child, I see all my siblings still call their parents their mom and dad, even though they was out the house as a young child. They still address their mom as this is my mama, this is my dad. My mama didn't. She was cold turkey silent from siblings to everybody. Like nobody to today, and I'm 49. Her sisters, siblings, nobody go reach out to my mama. Don't touch, don't nothing. It's just been that cold. And then I had to come up with two cousins doing the same thing to me. My mama's sister, children. So I'm silent because I'm like, look what they did to my mom. I just need to be quiet. Don't say nothing.
Wait. What did they do to you?
I got molested for about 3 years, from the age 11 to 13. So, and it was two aunties' children. One right now doing life in not for my charge, but hey, he said he didn't do that charge, but coma come back all kind of ways. It's just that simple. He doing life, and the other one he just stuck on silly. He just don't say nothing. And like you were saying, I used to go to family functions, and I was the favorite out everybody, niece, everybody, because I kept quiet. So everybody played like dysfunction was normalized in my family. I felt like an outcast. I just didn't know. I felt uncomfortable. Aunties was telling me my mama was on drugs. She got molested. I looked at like the men up the street because I had freckles. All my aunties got freckles. It just was so much. They was just telling me as a young girl, And my grandmother took a leech to me. Like I guess she felt like she couldn't save my mom, so she was very overprotective of me. So her daughters absolutely wasn't having it. Like, why you saving Trina? You never saved none of us, and we your daughter. We your daughter. So it was a jealousy between my aunties and us. It was a battle. I mean, they couldn't stand the grounds I walked from putting me in a mental hospital as a young girl at 16 to me going serve time. Yes, so they did a lot to destroy me, like literally. And I did so much to be accepted.
What's the age difference between you and your sisters?
Big,
Your aunties.
big difference. My oldest aunt is 70. And she looked the goodest out of everybody. She the oldest, and me, her was the only one close. She didn't have to get married off because she was old enough. She left the house way before when she saw a lot of stuff going on. She just didn't, like it. So she was old enough to get married herself. Me and her have a close relationship. She never doubted nothing that I said. She always, had my back from a little girl, and I always felt comfortable with her and her husband. Her husband treated me just like a niece. So the rest of the aunties is just like, nah, they not having it. And two of my uncles / brothers, they passed when I was 5 years old. They died 6 months apart in car accidents. So I didn't know how our relationship would have even much worked out. And another uncle passed maybe 3 years ago, my oldest uncle, and I have the baby. My mom was the baby girl, and my uncle now / brother, baby boy, he's still living, and we have a close relationship. He's just accepting the fact that this is the truth. He's accepting it.
So
But
yeah, so then that brings me to a question then. So did the family? So some of them knew that your grandfather molested your mother, and
everybody knew.
everybody you knew. Everybody knew. So aunts, cousins, uncles, everybody knew. Everybody kept it a secret from you, and everybody just acted like everything was okay. Were they scared of him?
There was my grandfather have a crucial name. Him and his brother's family / whatever. To put it out there, my grandfather just dealt with a lot of women. Even my grandmother, oldest sister, that was his girlfriend before my grandmother. So they just passed him around in the family. He had touched, my grandmother, one of my grandmother nieces. So he was just a man of poor character. All I can say is I don't have any bad memories of my grandfather. I hold a lot of hate against him because he died. I felt like he took the easy way out. He died when I was 13. Um, and I was left behind with unsolved answers that he left a lot of bitter children to hate me. For my mom to be trapped in this situation in silence. And I grew to a lot of bitterness. And I couldn't find love nowhere. Like I was already robbed out of my virginity as a young girl. So sex came easy to me coming up. I just felt like that's what you were supposed to do when you get in a relationship. Um, it just was a whole lot of dysfunction going on, anxiety, depression started sitting in. I wound up having my own kids, 5 children, and I wore a mask all my life. I was very embarrassed of my mom and her situation. It was not more I was embarrassed for her. I was selfish. I was embarrassed for me, not thinking, my mom was going to need me. Everybody else, the world had already closed her out, even family closed her out. So I just, I was very selfish and didn't know that until I went through a lot of trauma myself. It caused me to develop tumors in my body, fighting thyroid cancer and uh, breast cancer. And I'm talking about my body went through a lot. And it was till then
You,
I
you attribute
realized.
that to what you went through with the
Yeah,
family.
I went through a lot. And stress causes a lot of trauma to your body. People think it's all in food. It's not. It's what we swallow every day in the atmosphere, in our daily activity. If we around negativity, if we eating that, we feeding our body poison every day. So now we tearing down our immune system, we holding secrets, all kind of stuff. So now it's traumatizing to our whole immune system. So it caused me not to eat for 14 years. I couldn't swallow solid food for 14 years. 14 years. Who can
So
imagine that?
yeah, I mean, just think about the trauma. And you, when you said that you were molested, and you said that they were molested, and everybody in the family was molested, and the same thing with you, Tiara, that the one person who molested you, he would got molested, and then the person who molested him, they got molested, and it's just this cycle. And so, yeah, and so when you think back to this Naziah um, case, Naziah Harris, with her uncle or her aunt's boyfriend molesting her, I think he probably was something happened to him because he was touching everybody and everything. And just like you said, Tiara, um, he gave a 4-year-old chlamydia.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do we protect our children in those? Because I was out because I was molested too, and I was and I just had a conversation with my daughter the other day because I was very adamant about making sure that she was insulated and that she wasn't, but you just don't know. And so I was like, "Were you? Has anything ever happened to you?" And she's like, "No." Um, not when I was younger, when I went to college, it was a whole different situation. But in terms of like her being, sexually abused coming up, I was so adamant about, not letting her go spend the night in different places and all of these things. But I remember when it happened to me, your mama could go to the store real quick, boom, and just like that, like you could be out of the room for 5 minutes, and boom, just like that. So how y'all do we protect our children, Tiara?
And then and then for me, there was like although I stayed at my grandmother's house because I didn't grow up in a house with my mother and father. So I was at grandma's and grandma had a lot of children. And, once grandma's children left, it's like there was just always people at the house, y'all. There was always people at our house. And so my cousin had come to stay with us. And the thing is, after a while, the way there is a grooming, he's not that much older than me. He's like 48 at this point. I'm 42. And so there wasn't that much of a difference. There, big enough when you're 7, there's a little difference. But um the thing was, at some point I started to protect him. I started to protect like I didn't want him to get in trouble. He was like, I get in trouble, just, don't, I mean, just the way he explained it to me, And I didn't want to get him. So even if he was in the middle of an act or asking me to do something for him, and somebody walk in and they'd be like, "What y'all doing?" He'd be like, "Nothing, just playing," kind of like that. Or he would act like he was wrestling me, or it was just so strange. I mean, now that I think about it, it's like I felt like, my mother and my father were not there to kind of tell me like, no, this is not okay. There was no protection. So I kind of just got caught up in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're asking me how I mean, I guess at this point, just keep communicating with your children. I mean, I talk to my 13-year-old all the time. Her father is just like a hoverer. So between the two of us, we're just very protective of her spirit, making sure that, those same things don't happen to her.
Yeah. Trina, did anything ever happen to any of your children?
Both my daughters. I don't know about my son. My son is a trans now. I never allow my kids to go anywhere. I was very overprotective, but it happened at my house, like you said. My family members had to come to my house with their children, and I always check rooms before I go to bed. And I walk down, on a situation with my daughter, and I lost it. Like, like
Oh,
I'm talking about.
Ooh.
I'm talking bragging the dude. I'm talking about down my hallway, like, and his mama was sitting in the living room. I'm like, look, this is about to go up. I'm telling you. So she didn't wholeheartedly forgive me. He didn't get a chance to penetrate in her or anything, but he was about to if I wouldn't have stepped in. I forgive him to this day. Like we real close. He like a nephew. I call him my nephew instead of my cousin. But I just feel like she said, I did everything as a mom for school. There was certain, friends they couldn't be around. Like if their parents let their children do whatever, no, they could. It was like I was a drill sergeant at all times. Like I'm showing up at the school. I'm here. I'm watching every move. I would pull up at the friend's house. Their mama work all day. You can't sit up in here. Your friend got brothers. Oh, that ain't going on. Like
Right.
I just didn't allow it.
And then they thought you were being extra strict. They thought you was,
they
you
thought I was
you doing
crazy.
too much. You doing them. Yeah. But they don't understand that you're protecting them from a place of trauma because you don't want them to experience what you had been through. And kids don't be understanding that. So for those of you, I know a lot of people are just tuning in. We're talking about how to protect our children. I got my co-host with me over here. Look at see how I just knew how to do that. See that? No, see, you got to learn it, Tiara. You got to learn. So I got my co-host right here, Miss Tiara Williams, Miss Black Hollywood, chiming in all the way from LA. And I also have Trina Dorsey, and we're talking about how to protect your children. Now, remember, I come live every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to get notified when I come live, make sure you text the word Constance or my name Constance to 87948. That's CONSTANCE to 87948. So before we continue on the conversation, because there's so many more questions that I want to unpack, and I want to ask you, the audience, what measures do you take to protect your children or children that you're around? Are you adamant and intentional about protecting your kids when do you let your kids go out and spend the night at other people's houses? How do you protect your children? But Trina also is a part of the Net7 Collective, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Net7 Collective because I think we're a dope and amazing group. But let me tell you a little bit more about it.
3 or 4 years I've been praying for a business coach. I knew that a coach, I read many times that all the most successful people have a coach. Coaches have coaches.
I've learned how to purchase land. I've learned how to do overages in real estate. And I even learned some different things with credit, that I've gotten my credit cleaned up with my bankruptcy, that I'm almost in my home stretch. Doing everything right now and applying it.
I finished 2 ebooks. If I could do it, anybody can do it. And started a nonprofit.
Gotten more out of this than I ever anticipated.
Constance has done an amazing job at placing systems to allow us to understand how to prosper in our businesses.
I'm telling you, I would move heaven and earth not to miss one of these sessions.
She will move heaven and earth to not miss one of these sessions. So Trina is actually one of the esteemed ladies, the beautiful boss, amazing women. That's a part of the Net7 Collective, and that's where we help women from all over the country increase their net worth to 7 figures. But I wanted to talk to her and Tiara today about this Naziah Harris story because I think it's important. I think it's something that we really need to address is really how do we protect our children? Because that's the thing that we need to really unpack is how to, we can talk about, because I've seen somebody in the comments say, the fact that people are saying that she was fast. Because if you listen to the text messages, if you heard what they said, that the text messages, this man was talking to her like she was his woman, and she was talking to him like that was her man. How can she be fast if she wasn't groomed, if she wasn't exposed? She's a child. Children only do what they are shown, what they're fed. So why would you blame a child? There are people out there that are blaming this child for her being fast, or she liked it. It's sex.
No, that's not how that goes. I'm sorry, like, Trina. I know you probably want to chime in too, but I don't. There's a grooming that happens, and grooming is real. We're talking about a man who is grown, who has he knows what to do. He knows how to warm her up. Who knows what he said to get her in that situation, and just starting to think like it's okay. I mean, I'll be like your boyfriend too. I'm your auntie's boyfriend, but I could be your boyfriend too. I really like you. I have feelings for you. And if for a girl that is raised, first of all, is not being raised by her mother and father, she can be easily manipulated. Let me be the one to tell you, you can be manipulated. Your parents are not there to protect you. People in the world will, they'll make up. It's easier to fall for, the pipe in the, what is it? The whatever in the tailpipe, right? It's easier to fall for that because you don't know. And if you have your grandmother's a little older, likely, so she's not as quick. She's not, she's just not thinking that way. So I understand how she was able to be manipulated and think that this was really like her man. I get it.
When you think about that too, when you think about how predators act, because you said something that I think is very important, and I'm very cognizant of this. And this is the reason why I'm very careful about who I bring around my kids. Like everybody don't get an invitation to Casa Carter Casa Castle, whatever. Everybody don't get an invitation. Even though my kids is grown ass men, but I have a teenager that's still here. But even a lot of predators, they will prey on single women who don't that the fathers aren't involved.
Yep.
And they will gain trust.
Yep. Right.
And then they will then begin the grooming process, right?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, they work. Oh, you work. Let me watch them. I'll help. Let me give you some money. They'll manipulate the moms too, I just want to be there for your kids. I love you and I love them kids. And then before you know it, Uncle Ben or whoever has been, you're like, wait a minute, and the mother is just trying to get help. She's just trying to get support.
Trying to work for me.
Believing.
They ain't work for me. They ain't work for me.
What do you mean?
That didn't work for me. Any man came in my life and was like, let me help you. No, I have daycare. No. I raised my children to watch themselves. It was a no. I didn't even much trust their daddies, and I slept with their dad. So it's the mere fact my grandfather showed me a display that every man off limits. Dad, everybody off limits at this point. I gotta even trust the dad. I didn't trust dads. Yeah, everybody off limits. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah,
my daughter's dads couldn't change their pamper. They couldn't take a bath. None of that. Wow. Couldn't happen. It just couldn't happen. I just didn't do it. I just couldn't. And I see a lot of cases in Louisiana where the girls trusted the dude, the babysit. They come back, this child, they got beat to death. This dude and probably got anger issues. I'm not letting no man watch my children. I never did. Never gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. I tell that to my granddaughters, my daughter-in-laws. If y'all need somebody to babysit, please call me, my grandchildren. I don't need them in a house by themselves. I don't need them feel like they're not protected because it take a village. And then by me, you gotta know the signs. I know all of us love our children, but sometimes we born sin to the world. We all come here as sinners. So we born some terrible kids. We don't like to admit our kids have a problem out the gate. You know, like we don't want, as a mom, we hate to say our child, you know, is a predator or, you know, want to turn that child in or want to go get that child some help. We don't want to say that. So we let him do what he want to do. You know, he'll grow out of it. Maybe, you know, it's just a phase he going through. It's always something, but let's not get no help. We have to really uplift mental health. It is real. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay. Nobody's not going to look at you different because you have some type of sickness. You know, we have to get that right at the door. My children, y'all children, and I think if we catch it at our home, even with our sons or daughters, because they have daughters that molest boys and stuff like that too. And we see signs as grandmothers, as mothers, and we correct
do we
it
see
because
signs and do we see signs and just ignore? Do you think
I
people
think we
see signs?
do. It's hereditary. You know what I'm saying? So like if they knew the journey my grandfather came from, everybody knew he was this man before, you know, my grandmother, you know, married him. So now I'm accepting to marry this guy, knowing he got this track record. Okay. So now I gotta have kids by this man, knowing all these demons he got gonna fall on my children. Like, so I gotta accept he do this. He a man that ran from a you know, he killed somebody, they put him in a trunk. So he got a lot of demons he dealing with. You know, he like women. So now I'm about to get pregnant by this man. So now you gotta watch who we sleeping with. So now I'm getting pregnant with this man. I'm gonna have kids by this man. So sometimes it miss our children, go to the next generation, like my cousins. You know, they molested me. So it's who we have to be mindful who we are dating. Like literally, we have to watch.
So do you put any blame on your grandmother though?
A little bit. I do. The first time I was like, she didn't know, my grandmother and grandfather didn't have an education, but my grandfather had talent. Like he built houses. He was a very respectable man. Like nobody didn't deal with him. My grandmother, on the other hand, she didn't graduated from school. So she looked at him like somebody with money, I guess. And then as me growing up in that house with her, I just felt like she just didn't have no hope. It's just like I had a man in the house. Then, you know, her mom died young. So I just felt like when he passed away at 13, you got broke free. So let me go get my daughter up out of here. Because this man is no longer going to trigger her off. He's not in the household no more. Let me go get her out. It was none of that. It was like, I can't deal with her. I can't watch her. It was more excuses than anything. At that point, that's when I started literally saying it's some trauma there, you know, too.
Yeah, oh my God.
My grandmother,
and shame.
you know, and everybody couldn't stand me. Like, you know, my grandmother is the sweetest woman you can ever know. And I just feel like she just had some bad cards dealt, you know, and
Dr. Shirley said she was abused.
Yeah, I mean,
most certainly, and she was really, really afraid of my grandfather. Let's just clear it up. She was a good, wholesome woman, clean woman, never cursed until he died. It looked like his spirits jumped on her. Like spirits are they transfer. He died in front of me and my grandmother, so he died of anger. So when we pulled his death certificate, the death certificate said he died of anger. Wow, he's never known nobody have that on his death certificate. Yes, wow. It's on his death certificate. Anger. He died of anger. So he was a madman. So this is what caused him to die, like grief, anger.
Is that a New Orleans thing or Louisiana?
I don't know.
I've never heard that before.
When my grandmother showed me the death certificate, it was like she was mind blowing, like she never heard of that neither. So we like, hold on. So this would cause his heart attack, anger. Because he was in a rage when he died. Like the doctors was telling him to calm down, and he died. Damn.
Oh yeah. Blood pressure went up.
You know, so I just didn't see that. So he was just a mean person, you know. So I had to really forgive. My grandmother lived a long time, 94, bless her heart, 3 years ago. She passed away January the 15th, made 3 years. And she just, it didn't sit well with her. You could see she never was happy. She never even moved on with her life. And my grandfather died. My grandmother still was young. You know, she could have moved on. And she didn't. Like, no man, no nothing. Like, she just looked like she lost hope. She would always, go see my mom and have the people to bring my mom to her because my grandma didn't drive. So she would
Let me ask you
always,
this.
whatever. But
Let me ask you this. What do you say about the women who allow, and I'll ask you, Tiara, women who allow abuse, that they know and that they see it and they do nothing and they stay? What does it say about the women
I
that
feel
are
like
not protecting their kids?
everybody take abuse different. Some of them now today, I'm gonna just say today, all women should have some type of power because we just saw Big Mama went through it, Mama went through it, and everybody went through it. You just have to be strictly. I'm talking about don't see no hope that you need a man that much that you would trade your kid
Yeah.
for a man. And I feel like if some women has that void of a dad in this that need to feel protective, and this man probably giving her just that, so she will exclude her children needs for her needs, for her own selfish needs. So they have women just need that man, and it's called a soul tie. People don't believe in soul tie. She really don't need that man there. Like, if she break that soul tie, it's over. She just got to find her strength, So she have this soul tie. So you got to understand, when you sleeping around with men that done some stuff, and now you're sleeping with him, that soul tie becomes, you attached to what he done. You're getting punished too for what he done, because now y'all in an intimate relationship. So a soul tie is hard really to break. And I had to learn that because I had 5 children for 5 different dudes, and I was chasing something, chasing some love, chasing that daddy, that protection, just trying to find something. And sex is where I ended up at by me being victim, being a victim of molestation as a young girl. Dudes was like, sex was like, I can just have sex with him and I'm gone, because I knew how to financially take care of myself. It just was something, an urge in my body that I needed to feel at that point of time, because I got robbed out of my innocence. So I just thought it was necessary to have that somebody there. So it's to each woman with what they craving for. Because I didn't really have to have a man. I could use it. We could have sex and you could go ahead on. It just was that. Like, I was that type of woman. I think I hurt more guys than guys hurt me because I wasn't a healthy woman back then. So I'm just saying, talking to a woman that's maybe watching now, if you're in that situation, I just feel like you have to spiritually disconnect yourself. You have to spiritually align yourself. You have to pray. You have to ask for discernment. You have to forgive yourself from even allowing yourself to be that weak, that vulnerable for a man. You have to let all those demons loose. You really have to fast your body. You have to heal. Like, I'm talking about really fast your body from sex, from everything. And just realize that your children is way more important. I will lay my life on the line for my children not to go through the trauma that I had to endure.
Right.
I definitely would. Even seeing that little girl story, and even you telling me the comments that somebody said, like, you have to be simple to say this young girl was fast. That's what they said about me. They said I was fast. My auntie said I got what I deserved by her son. She said I got what I deserved because I was fast. I will always sit with my legs open. If I don't have no women to show me how a girl is, I'm a tomboy.
Right.
You don't tell
Right.
me, you don't teach me etiquette. Like, this is not how you're supposed to sit. Trina, close your legs. They got men, and my children couldn't sit on nobody's lap, not even a fake Santa Claus lap. Get over it.
Right.
Oh, that's not going on. So, we just got to be mindful. We just have to be
Yeah.
mindful, and we just have to, like, literally get out our own way as women and stop being in denial with these men, confusing lust with love. And
So hold on. Somebody said, well, what happens next often you become a member, a runaway, but as a youngster, you forfeit a great education to become an emancipated youth, just taking on the responsibility of raising yourself. Um, but Dr. J said, and I want to ask this to you, Tierra, once you get your life together. Dr. J
Sorry about
said,
that.
oh, you look so much better because you was blurry the whole time. Now you're clear.
It was
Yeah.
my it's it's the app. Go ahead, I'm listening.
But Dr. J said, why are you blaming the women? The men are the predators.
I just said they
Wait, wait,
have
wait,
mental
hold on, hold
health.
on, hold on, hold on. I was asking that to Tierra
Oh,
You know,
because
the
I
men
said
are the
I asked
yeah. I'm
about
coming back to it.
okay. I asked the women like, what do you say about the women who allow this to happen? And then Dr. J said, well, why are you blaming the women? The men are the predators. But if the women are, for me, if the women are staying with these men who are abusing these children, don't the women have some sort of responsibility, Tierra?
Absolutely, I believe that they do. I mean, you know, Trina, you said a lot of great things, right? Like about it, it just reminded me of like we all kind of have this generational thing, not all of us, but
right.
there's a huge population of our community that have this story, our stories. There's three of us here, and we all have gone through this a version of the same thing, right? And that it just to me it says something about our community, something about how like I said earlier, we sweep things under the rug, we turn a blind eye, we don't acknowledge that people have issues. So I hear trauma, I hear generational trauma, I hear self-esteem issues, I hear self-worth issues, I hear a lack in confidence, I hear brokenness. That's what I hear. When those women are definitely responsible, but unfortunately, something was done to them.
Yeah.
Someone broke them. So I don't know if everybody's walking around kind of with a sickness, if you'll say. Like a
Yeah.
brokenness is a sickness. Trauma is,
Yeah.
you know, all of that. The results or the repercussions of trauma really is, I don't know, it's just so detrimental to us as people and us as a community. So I would just say they're all to blame, but everybody kind of has an issue. This young man that what I don't know his name, that molested the young girl that we're talking about. Um, like you said, Constance, earlier, somebody did something was done to this man. Now he looks like a demon and the devil, and to an
Ooh,
extent he
child.
is, right? He is, but I would love to know what happened to him. I would love to hear his story. I would love, because there's always two sides to every story.
Yeah,
And so
there's always that origin story, or as a kid say, the villain origin story. Like, where did this
yes,
all start? Where did this all begin? But then
yes,
part two to that, Tierra, is um, what Dr. J said: can abused women protect? Because she's saying, well, we're victim blaming. We're blaming the victim because she's saying that the women are abused too because they're allowing this to happen. Can they really protect someone?
I think our mental health, and I think um our getting healed. Healing is our responsibility. So we do have to take accountability for it. If something happens, you know, Trina, you said something, and I'm not gonna talk about your grandma because I get it, right? Like, but there is a part of your grandma that did turn the blind eye, that knew what was going on, and she was like,
That's
well,
right.
listen, I'm just gonna stay
Right.
here, and it didn't happen. It's better to, like, I guess, stay in a situation. In her mind, it was better to stay there. We have all
Right.
these kids, we have all this history, I love him, I'm not strong enough, I don't have an education, so I can't go out and provide for myself. We're talking about New Orleans in the early
Right.
1900s, right? So it's not even there's so many things to consider. And so there's a part of me that really sympathizes and empathizes with your grandma, but there's a part of me that's kind of angry at your grandma too, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, it's obvious that there's a part of her that knew, there's a part of her that knew that something was wrong, because she still went to see your mom every weekend. There's
That's right.
something that was like, this is how I'm gonna show her, this is how
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to show up for her. I'm gonna still see
Yeah.
her, I'm gonna still be there for her, so I don't feel completely bad. But there's a part of me that, and even my own mother, Trina,
Yeah.
who felt like she couldn't protect me, there was a shame. And my mother,
That's
it took
it.
my mother a long time to just acknowledge. Now when we have conversations, I mean, my mother and I have a relationship that's like 4 years old, 3.5 years old, right? We've been around each other, but she finally at like 39, I'm 42, y'all, was like, I want to be your mother. And so
Right.
with that, just like at first it was hard for her to acknowledge that some things happened. But now she says, like, I should have been there for you. I should have, this happened and I should have done this different. But at the time, I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know
Right.
how to go about it, but I made the mistake. It's just, people have to come to themselves in their own time, I guess is what I'm saying. So there's a part of all of us that has to take responsibility for our actions. We choose, we make decisions. Trina's grandma made a decision. My mother made a decision, So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, part of that protecting your children. I know for me, I remember, when I first had my first child, well, my daughter, like everybody was a pedophile until proven otherwise. So,
Yes.
it was like I didn't know whether my husband at the time was a pedophile, and he wasn't at all.
Right.
But when he was bathing her, I would be around the corner like peeking. When he was changing her, he didn't know I was in the back looking, and of course I told him later on, but I had to make sure because I mess with mine, and it's gonna be some slow singing and some flower bringing. I'm not playing. God knows that He had a bigger purpose for me than to have one of my children molested, because I would not be free today. I'm just not willing to risk my children or my freedom if something like that happened.
Right.
For those of you guys who are just tuning in, wow, this has been really just deep. Not only are we talking about the Naziah Harris case, where we talked about, just what happened and really how to protect our children, because ultimately that's what this is about, right? This is about protecting our children. We heard about Trina Dorsey's story, where her father not only molested his own daughter, she was conceived in that assault, but he also, this was common, and then she was molested, and the person who molested her was molested, and it's just this cycle, these curses, these generational curses that happen. And then you didn't even get a chance to share, and I'm gonna let you share really quick because then we got to head out of here, but you didn't even get to share the fact that your mom in this mental institution was also sexually abused, right?
Yes. So they thinking putting her in there, I'm gonna say this: they couldn't have thought she was going to get no help there. That's one. I wouldn't have thought of putting my child somewhere like that. Years later, she became sexually assaulted in a state hospital that's supposed to care. And we all know once we put our people in some type of state facility, it's like, and the fact where my grandparents went consistently to see her, you wouldn't have thought nobody wouldn't have tried my mom. So she got pregnant in 1994. I was pregnant with my daughter, and the doctor called me and said, look, the hospital have your mom here and they're trying to abort the kid. That's my brother now. He's 30 years old. And we are trying to abort this child. And the doctor said, I don't want my hands dirty. He said, your mom is not capable of signing these papers. I don't even must know that she know she's pregnant. I don't know if she knows she's in her right mind. And man, they still have good people in the world. We have doctors would have did that for money, just crooked. The mere fact he took up the time and looked in the folder was nothing but guys showing me way back then that I was covered back then. He was showing me then. And I say, listen, I'm on my way there. I'm pregnant. I think I was 20, 23, 24. And I got there and I was stripped from my rights from my own mom because my grandmother was still living. She was the one put her child in that place. So they let us say so much. All they told us was, okay, if she have this kid, she cannot stay here with the state. She's not allowed to stay here. So we want to know, how did this happen? Who is the daddy? Because the women on this side, the men on this side. Now we talking about as parents how to protect our children, but now this is a facility that's getting paid to watch over these people. And if you have a man dorm over here and a woman dorm over here, if you're saying that it was a client, how they got connected, where y'all was like those 5 minutes of she got to take off her clothes and people walking around all day. You know, this is a facility. So now in my mind, it got to be a worker. It can't
Gotta
be
be
no
a worker.
because he gonna know where to go duck her off at. She had to leave with him to go take a ride or maybe to a doctor's appointment or whatever. You ain't gonna tell me no different. And my mind already made up. And then you try to abort the baby. The simple fact, y'all try to abort the baby, that's red flag. It was somebody that was working there. So now they had to put my mama out there and put her in independent living. But the key was she could not keep her child. So they was going to put my brother up for adoption, which I would have probably never saw my brother, never know where he was. But the same family member who my grandfather assaulted, molested, she raised my brother.
Wow.
She raised my brother like her own, loved him, still let him keep his last name just in case I wouldn't have never came around so that he could know that she have a sister. I played in and out of my brother's life when he was small. I had children. I still was young. I was like, I can't deal with this. I don't know how to deal with this. I just don't know. So I detached myself from my brother, my mom, everything. I had my own kids. I had my life going in a circle. I had nobody to protect me. I had to find my way. Like, I just didn't know. So as this healing process came, and it took my grandmother, to be honest, to lay her life down. Just like you said, my grandmother, for once, came to me and said, I'm sorry. My grandma never said she loved nobody. She never hugged nobody. She never said that.
How did that feel?
Said, I'm sorry. Felt it good. And she was like, I'm tired. She was 94. She said, go ahead on. My book was in process before my grandmother died. My family was all, just saying all kind of stuff, but it wasn't ready. God said it had to be an ending. Never knew I was going to lose my grandmother after she apologized and said the only person that I owe the apology is you and your mom. She said, I want you to move on with your life. I wasn't strong enough.
Wow.
So I want you to write that book.
I want to put a pin in that because I want you to talk about that really quick. But I know Tierra got a hard stop at right now. You got another meeting. So man, this was getting juicy, right, Tierra?
Oh my gosh. I wanted to ask so many questions.
Yeah. But go ahead and handle your business. I'm gonna talk to her for a couple more minutes and then we're gonna get off. And then guess what? What we're gonna do at 1:00 Eastern?
Yeah, come and see us at the Fly Nubian Money. At the Fly Nubian Money.
See?
I was gonna say the Fly. You know what I was going to say, Constance? The Fly Nubian Money Club.
Okay.
Come see us at Fly Nubian Money. We go live at 1 p.m. from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come see us today, y'all. Come see us.
What we talking about? We talking about anything special today?
Listen, what is today? It's either Doomsday or a happy day. Which one is it?
MLK
It's Inauguration Day. So
turn your TVs off. Do not watch the inauguration.
Are you watching the circus, y'all? I mean, no. I don't know. It's like I already there's publicity stunts on the first day. He came in like Donald Trump has saved us.
Day one. We're gonna take TikTok off, and then right before inauguration, we're gonna put TikTok back on.
And then on the page say like thanks to Donald Trump. Come on, y'all. That's
this
like
man already he started off playing in our faces.
That's like $1,200 on your check during COVID. That young man didn't have nothing to do with saving TikTok. If y'all could just see the game, I just don't understand. Okay, but we're gonna talk about it. Come through. All
right, 1:00 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We'll see you in a little bit, Tierra. I'll see you in an hour.
Bye. All right,
peace. All right, Trina, did I lose Trina?
No. Bye, Tierra. Why did you take me off? You haven't taken me off.
No, I didn't say. Oh, I got to kick you out. Yeah. All right. So Trina's still here, but she came. She left. She came back. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you're watching the Grow Your Money podcast with Constance Carter. Trina Dorsey was just on here sharing her captivating story about her father being her grandfather being her father, molesting her mother. Then in order to cover it up, they put her mother in a mental institution. So they did that. And then I'm gonna bring her back on because she's coming back in here. And then, so now her mother has been in this mental institution for the last 50 years, basically. And while she was there, she then got assaulted again. And it's just this cycle. And this, she's just being victimized after victimized after victimized. But I want you to tell about your book, because you put in your book, you were saying that your grandmother had told you to write the book. So your grandmother gave you permission to write this book that you wrote about.
I was going to do it regardless. My family was kind of mad at me, was like, well, you should have waited till, my grandmother, passed away. I had started doing interviews then, and she had, heard of me speaking about it and stuff like that. So she was like, I want you to write the book. She said, just don't put no lies in it. Tell the truth. Be yourself. She said,
so the truth is good. It's juicy enough, ain't it?
But you know what? It really set me free. And it set my grandmother free, because I just feel her warm presence around me now, that she really didn't mean no harm. She really didn't mean no harm. And she just didn't have the strength. Like, she didn't have the strength. And like we said, that's was the cases of most women are doing now. Like, they don't have the strength or the ability to just leave. And
that's the question I want to ask to the audience. Is there accountability on her part? I'm asking you guys, for y'all that are watching. It's over 400 people that are watching right now from different platforms, and wherever you're watching from, make sure you subscribe to the Fly Nubian Queen. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. I am Constance Carter. Follow Trina on where can they follow you at, Trina?
Instagram me, Tree Too Blessed. Facebook, Trina Thompson. I see everybody going to follow the Trina Dorsey page because they see my last name, but I can't get in that Facebook. So my new Facebook is Trina Thompson, and on TikTok is Trina Dorsey too. Yeah.
Okay. So, but what do you guys think? Do you blame? And I'm not talking about her grandmother in particular, but she was saying her grandmother just was not strong enough to be able to break away from this. So, do you blame a woman who maybe is not strong enough to be able to leave? Do you blame? Is she to blame? I'm not asking you, Trina. I'm just asking the people in the audience. I want you guys to chime in. Do you think that there's responsibility on this person? It was in the, like Tiara was saying, it was in the 1900s. She may not have had anywhere to go. She may not have just been strong enough. She may, of course she loved him. Maybe she was abused. Is she to blame for putting her daughter in this situation to where she was abused? And then, of course she was abused again. Now, Trina has a book, and Trina, actually, her story is in her book. Do you have a copy of your book, Trina? The Lies They Told?
It come the day where the lies they told. Yeah, I got a copy of that. Our book was coming today.
Oh, yeah. So Trina is also an author in the Net7 Collective book called Unbreakable, and she talks about her story. There's the lies they told, and so you go into depth, into detail about your entire life. I see pictures in there and everything. Your whole life is in that book, and she touches on it here in this book called Unbreakable. And it's a story, it's a collection of stories from the ladies of the Net7 Collective, stories of survival, sisterhood, and success. And guess what, you guys? Trina is on today, and today this book is available today. It was available for pre-sales this whole time. So if you go on Amazon and you search for Unbreakable, you can buy any of our books. Mine, you can just search for Unbreakable Constance Carter, and you can get my book, or you can get Trina's book, Unbreakable Trina Dorsey. My cover looks a little different from this, so you're not going to see my cute little face on here. My cover is a little bit different, but everybody else has their faces on their covers. But get the book. It's a powerful collection of stories about stories. Trina, everybody's story is different, but we talk about how we're able to overcome these dark places and spaces to be who we are today. Because ultimately, Trina, our goal is to be able to help other people, right? The reason why you did is to be able to help other people. Yeah. Our hardships are the blueprint to help other people, right? Yeah. And so that's why she's telling her story. So she wrote her book. She wrote her story in this book. So make sure you go to Amazon and pick up her book. Hold your book up again, The Lies They Told. Yeah. The Lies They Told. And ask Dr. J. Dr. J was here last Wednesday. Dr. Shirley Jones, she was here last Wednesday. She's in the book. She has a great story in the book. And she was on here giving us the game about the food. That was crazy. But really quick, I want to just share a little bit about what the Net7 Collective is. And then I'm going to talk to Trina, and then we're going to get out. Attention, Black women.
Yes, I'm talking to you. 2025 is among us. You have a unique genius that people will pay handsomely for, but you don't know how to monetize it. You want to build your net worth, but you don't really know how. You want to get out of that rigid 9 to 5 and become an entrepreneur. You want to be able to communicate effectively and tell your story, to sell your story, to generate passive income. You want to be able to build an entire ecosystem that runs fluidly and makes you money while you're sleeping. Well, these are the things that we do inside the Net7 Collective. This is where I'm helping Black women from all over the country that are brilliant, just like you, and looking to monetize that brilliance. The next cohort is coming up soon.
Yes, the next cohort is coming up on January 29th. So if you're interested, go to my website, go to constancecarter.com to learn more about it. Trina, you are a part of the Net7 Collective. What has been your experience?
Ooh. I thought I had it all figured out. Even with me going viral, I didn't know my next move. I was not taught finance, credit, none of that. I just wasn't taught it. I had to learn gradually and still couldn't figure out, like, I knew my why in the world, what I wanted to do, my passion. I knew what I wanted to do, just didn't know the tools how to get there. So when I joined Net7 Collectives, let me tell you something, the women here, patience, loyalty, sisterhood, women of all types up in here. I mean, doctors, lawyers, I mean, big bosses up in the room. And they're not scared to share their information. I got taught things that I never thought in my life I can do. One thing about Constance, a good coach, not only a coach, I'm saying a sister, great leadership. She take time, patience. She want to see you win. She's not in competition with none of her sisterhood at all. I have ran into so many people that want to be competitive, not in this group. It's not one thing that you cannot get in that group and just say, and they won't be on it like this. I'm saying like this. It is just nothing. So I love it here. I love the friendship we have, and none of us have never physically, well, I haven't been in a presence, but it feels like I've been in a presence for all my life. That's just how warm this group is. They drop knowledge on you. She hold you accountable. She's on this show talking, but she's a good accountability person. Like, you're gonna do this homework. You better do it. It better get done now. And she push you to where you need to be at, especially if you're a person that you scared, like that fear. You right there, but just don't have that person to hold you accountable for. Don't worry, Constance she's gonna push you there. She's gonna pull it up on out, just snatch it. And then it's gonna be all love. Like, it's really all love, tough love in this group, and everybody jumps in. Like, if Constance not available, you get in that group text and be like, I need help. Everybody on it. Everybody on it. They're not gonna leave you hanging. So I love this group.
I love it.
This group. I love this community.
I love it.
Y'all looking for a good coach for 2025? This is the time to lock in, because not only you're going to have a coach, you're going to have a friendship, mentorship. You're going to get connected to people like Doctor. You need something, she got information for you. You know, we got people all in this. I'm talking about big bosses that don't mind sharing their testimonies. I thought I didn't fit in at first because I didn't come from, none of this. Like, I didn't come from it. I had to get it out the mud. My family knew about wealth. They don't want to build generational wealth. At this point, they don't. My aunties, none of them didn't. I'm the only one broke this cycle. Like, I saw myself different. That I want to build something different. I want to, not only show my family, but show other people, that it could be done. Little old me that came from the trenches, that mom was molested, that I was embarrassed, that I fought depression, I couldn't eat, I struggled all kind of things, that I did it. Like, this was a big deal. Her book, everything happening to me was a big deal. I learned how to celebrate my accomplishment because we wasn't celebrated when we was young. It was like, okay, you did that and what? It didn't care, because back then that group of people was okay, with whatever. They just was okay, and I just saw more for my life. And Constance is here.
I saw more for you. I saw so much more when I saw you. I knew that we needed to be connected. And the thing that I love, especially even in this space, is that I don't have the bandwidth right, to do everything and help everybody, but everybody just jumped. The fact that you see that, like
Yes.
somebody have a question, somebody got an answer, like that's
Somebody
how,
on it.
man. And I'm like, God, I thank you, because this is actually something I needed, to be around just women who want more for their lives, and that just want that don't not only want more for themselves, but want to help other people, that just have this they have this understanding that what God has for me is for me. So there's no gatekeeping. I ain't got to keep nothing from you, because I already know that God has already imparted me with everything that I need. So I can go ahead and give you everything I have, because he already gave me what I need. Because what I have is mine, and what you have is yours. And I can't take it from you, and you can't take it from me. And so that's the community that we have inside this group. So it's like, I'm telling you, the phone is going all day, but it's so cool, because somebody has a question, somebody got an answer. Trina, I love Trina's spirit, because she first thing, Grand Rising Queens, hey ladies, you always, and so it's just always just this positive energy that just permeates throughout, and it's wonderful. So I just love it. And it's not about Constance Carter. That's what I need people to understand. It's not about me. It's about we. It's the collection of women, and it's the sisterhood. But we do have this book that's available today. It's not only in hard copy. So this is the draft copy that I got before it was released. It's in paperback form, and it's also Kindle. So you can start reading our stories today. You can read Trina's story. You can read Dr. J's story. Who else we have? Oh, we had Dee Dee. You can read her story. But these are all bosses in their own right, from all over the country, all different walks of life, just one better for themselves and better for our community. There's this African proverb that says, when you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. So these women are building our nation. We closing the wealth gap. That's what I love. Trina, can you tell us, we're gonna head out of here, but can you tell us where they can find you, where they can follow you, how they can add to you? What do you have? What are you working on, so that they can get from you? What are you working on today? What can they get from you?
Okay, so this is crazy, because like you say, God, what God has for you, he has for you. I came from living off low income, Section 8, stuff like that, to now I work for them. So now I'm a Section 8 specialist. I'm literally in my own office. I want to teach a lot of young girls that is okay, because low income got me to where I'm going and where I'm trying to be at. We just don't have to stay there. I want to educate them on how they can save their money while they in affordable housing, because we call it affordable housing right now. We want everybody to look the same. We don't want to say you on Section 8, we call it affordable housing, whatever your rent whatever your pockets can afford. So I'm literally want to teach anybody. I'm not going to say young girls, because we have adults don't know. I was one adult, didn't know how to save on these programs. And the classes that we give out, where we have grants. You need to utilize this. Educate yourself on the first home ownership programs and stuff like that. And right now I'm working on getting my credit together to open up a living assistance home, not only for my mom, but for other people like my mom that don't have a voice. Right now it is called DNM, All About You Living Assistance. And the DNM stands for daughter and mom, because it's not about me and my mom anymore. We have been through. We came through. We was passing through. Our story and our journey now is to help somebody else that's going through it, not just with their mom, maybe a sister, a sibling, or whatever. So have you. Even when somebody said in the comments, usually when young girls get sexually assaulted and don't have parents for them, the streets praise them. I want to open things like that, mentor them, open a shelter where they could call it a safe space, where they don't have to go to the streets and feel like they by themselves. So my story literally tells a lot, like literally that little girl right here that was broken, that nobody had nobody. I want to help you discover how to start your healing process and to not let your past, if you stay in your past, you die. I tell everybody, it won't hinder you. It won't. It will only groom you into the person that you need to be. You just have to see a way. You just got to see your way out and push through. And that's what I'm here for. My social media is definitely on my books. All my platforms is here. Tree to Bless, TikTok.
Is
Very
it
good on T
TRETOOBL?
yeah, TOBLESSED. I'm good on if you add me, I get the message. I'm good on answering to a lot of people. It's amazing how I have thousands of people in my inbox saying if it wasn't for me, they would have gave up. And I'm what the world needs. I never thought I was gonna ever be what the world needs. That's big when somebody tell you I'm what the world needs. That's telling me that I'm doing what God has called me to do, that I'm on the right track. That this
Amen.
is really not my journey. It's not about Trina Dorsey Thompson anymore. It's way bigger than me. And
Amen.
I done helped a lot of people, and that's crazy. That's amazing to me. And that's where I get my energy from, when someone DM me and say, I came across your story and I was just about to give up until I saw you went through what you went through and you didn't give up. So that's right there alone. I know I can't save the world, but if I save one or two, I'm good. And
That's your mission. That is your
yeah,
mission. So
that's my
no,
mission.
thank you
So
so much. Yeah, thank you.
you're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This has been awesome. So listen, you guys, like I always say, wealth is a holistic experience. It's not just about your money. It's not about your material things, but it's about who you can impact. It's about your life. It's about your family. It's about your children. It's about protecting your legacy. And so I'm so glad that you guys have joined us today. Not only do I have the Net7 Collective, we have the Grow Your Money Club. So I want to encourage all of you, if you are looking for something that is for everybody, it's not for just for men, this is for women, this is for boys, girls, Black, white, Asian, whatever. We have the Grow Your Money Club where you can log on. You have a community of training, from credit and credit repair, from learning how to build your business, establish your business, create your entity, get business credit, to investment strategies, how to start investing in stock, how to invest in real estate, to building a business, because you want to go from employee, which is, if you look at the Robert Kiyosaki, the quadrant, the wealth quadrant, the cash flow quadrant. You want to start from being an employee, because most of us are employees, but you want to ultimately get to becoming an investor, and you do that by certain means. And so that's what's inside the Grow Your Money Club. You can go from being that employee, all the way to an investor, where your money is working for you, and not you working for your money. Everybody wants to get to a place where their money is working for you and not your money. So go to growyourmoney.club, growyourmoney.club, and money.club, and go ahead and sign up for all the training. It's only $99 per month, or you could do the classes. You could take you could do the bundle classes, where you're just doing the credit classes, or you're just doing the business classes, or you're just doing the investment classes, or you could purchase the training a la carte. But go to growyourmoney.club and start training today. Make 2025 a whole new year, a totally new year, so that you can start growing your money and not blowing your money. And then finally, people have asked me, especially men, Constance, what do you got for us? Well, I don't do a cohort for men, but I do coaching. So I do one-on-one coaching. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I am here to coach you. Book an appointment with me. Go to constancecarter.com/coaching. And I am more than happy to talk to you about your wealth strategies, real estate investment, business growth strategies, writing and publishing your book, crafting your signature story, or even credit repair. So if you're interested, you can go to constancecarter.com/coaching and go to Coaching with Constance. Trina, girl, you are amazing. Amazing. You are right where you need to be, and it's only up from here. And I can't wait. And I'm so happy that I get to sit on the front row and watch you soar. But I can't wait to just see everything that God is going to use you in 2025 and beyond. So, y'all, we appreciate you chiming in, and we'll see you in about 40 minutes for the Fly Nubian Money broadcast. All right. Peace.